they have learning and behavioral problems, not leprosy. Most of the kids are only with me for a period or two. And it's not that no one cares, Lucy shrugged. It's just, the way it is. Cedarvale likes everything status quo. No disruptions. Cedarvale was a small town in central Illinois. Its residents found the thought of change uncomfortable and weren't happy with anyone who attempted to introduce fresh ideas or innovations. People who had lived in Cedarvale for less than 20 years were still referred to as the new folks and not completely trusted until their families had been around for at least 3 or 4 generations. Then we should take the matter to the State Board of Ed. Delaney removed the plastic ice pack from her lunchbox and took out the sandwich it had been sitting on. I know they'd be interested in this school's treatment of our special education population. Not this summer. Lucy stopped peeling her orange and gave her friend an exasperated look. You haven't forgotten that my wedding is in exactly 16 days. How could I forget? You remind me at least twice a day. Delaney teased, trying to get the dollar signs to quit marching through her head. By the way, I picked up my dress last night. Isn't it beautiful? Lucy beamed. Beautiful, Delaney echoed, forcing her face to remain expressionless as she thought of the peach, Gone with the Wind creation hanging in her closet. If it had one more crinoline, she could sail it across the Mississippi River. You do like it. Lucy bit her lip. I'm sorry it ended up costing so much. I had no idea hoops would be extra. When Lucy had first asked her to be maid of honor, Delaney had vowed to be supportive of whatever her friend wanted. And this was the ultimate test. A totally useless dress she couldn't really afford, not to mention the costly accessories. No problem. Lucy crumpled up her empty bag of potato chips and sat back. It just occurred to me that, with your aunt being hospitalized for pneumonia last January and your car's transmission going out the month after, you've had a lot of expenses this past year. Her smile faded and she wrinkled her brow. I've been a selfish jerk about this wedding, haven't I? No, of course not. I told you money isn't a problem. Delaney lied smoothly, trying not to think of her Aunt Alice's medical bills or what it had cost to repair her Ford when it had died on the coldest day of the winter. I sold one of my flea market finds on eBay, which paid for the dress. She mentally crossed her fingers. She'd gotten $300 for the 1930s Murano glass bowl, which had covered most of her bill at the bridal shop. And I'm planning to do some tutoring this summer. Hoping was a better word, since so far the notices she'd put up around town hadn't produced any leads. Well, Lucy looked doubtful. Even so, I don't want you to buy me a wedding gift. Delaney nodded. I mean it. Lucy shook her finger in her friend's face. No gift. Delaney nodded again. Got it. Changing the subject, she asked, have you heard from Darcy or Sheridan lately? Darcy Simmons Starr, Sheridan Davis, Lucy, and Delaney had been inseparable in college. They'd pledged Alpha Sigma Alpha together and been suitemates for the remaining 3.5 years that they'd attended the university. Around campus, they'd been known as the Four Seasons. Sheridan was winter, cool and a bit aloof. Darcy was fall, crisp with a hint of sadness. Lucy was summer, always cheerful, living for the moment. And Delaney was spring, ever hopeful and ready for a new beginning. You must not have looked at your email this morning. There were messages from Sheridan and Darcy. Lucy took a sip of her Diet Coke. Darcy sent the latest sonogram and a picture of Michelle's first birthday party. Is everything okay with the baby? Delaney asked, frowning. I know she...